genre.
In the world of Hollywood, movies get greenlit and redlit. They get remade and rebooted. But we are the ideal. I'm Sam Gasch, and you are listening to Ideal Remake. Thank you for listening to Ideal Remake. We take movies that either have been, will be, or should be remade and talk about what the ideal version of that remake would be. In this episode, a comet is going to shoot across the sky, and anyone who sees it gets dusted, and anyone who sorta sees it gets zombified, and anyone who is completely shielded is fine. Luckily, we're in here. Podcasting. Safe. So, Jake, is Night of the Comet a movie that has been, will be, or should be remade?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Should be.
Yeah.
Should be. Because it's one of those projects I know there have been attempts over the years, up and down. It's one of those, it's like development hell. Where it's like they think they have an idea, and then they just lose the plot entirely. So it will be, inevitably.
That's true.
But it should be.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I don't remember who initially recommended this movie to me, but it's kind of been like in the realm of like things I want to cover eventually, to the point where when I watched this movie on Tuesday, I had a friend come over and was like, and it's the movie you recommended. And she's like, I've never heard of this before. And I was like, oh, oops.
This is one of those movies that makes sense where it's either you've never heard of it in your life and like someone bringing up as the first time, or you're like one of those people that watched it when you were young and like for 20 years you're like, I have an immaculate database in my head of every single detail. Like, I know the days they were shooting. I know it rained one afternoon. Like, I know like this actor was sick for a week. It's one of those kind of movies where you know nothing or everything.
Yeah, I love it. So Jake, welcome back to Ideal Remake.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, for anyone who's listening who doesn't remember your iconic Wizards episode, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a writer. I'm a YouTuber. I feel like I should say aspiring, but I feel like with most people in LA, that's just kind of, it comes with the territory.
You live in LA. To live in LA is to aspire.
Yes.
And if you have put words on page, you are a writer.
Yes. So, writer, YouTuber, I just recently did a documentary about a sort of long-forgotten period of Warner Brothers animation in the early 2000s. And now I'm here, sheltering with you as the comet goes over the sky and turns everyone into Mars dust.
Yeah. It definitely didn't make me think that they just, like, went to with a shovel to Sedona, Arizona, filled up a couple of bags, and then came back.
I bet you, was one of those businesses where it's like, you know, you drive through Utah and there's those shops that sell, like, little rocks and dirt and glasses. I bet the production just called that up and was just like, they're like, howdy, how can I help you? Marge, get the buckets! Yeah! Finally, I knew this business was a good idea!
We're eating meat tonight! But yeah. This movie was interesting because, like, with the aspect of zombies being involved, like, you know that I can't really watch horror, and so I was a little bit nervous about the zombiness, but there's maybe 1.5 zombies in the movie? Maybe? Well, technically 2. 2 full zombies.
I would argue, I think you're right, 2, but it's 1 and then 2 1/2s. Which we
3 1/2s.
3 1/2s, so it's really 2.5.
Although arguably everyone at the mall was sort of partial.
Right. See, that's the weird thing about this.
Because it's the mall, and then when they get to the security, like the security guard is partial, and then like we get to see the other scientists kind of starting to go.
Yeah. You know, it's weird, and I guess this can, like, going into a little bit. I don't know if you've probably never seen Return of the Living Dead.
No.
Yes. This almost feels like the antithesis of that.
Okay.
Because that movie is, like, very dirty and grimy, and it also deals with, like, the current generation dealing with a post-apocalyptic scenario.
Yeah.
But whereas that movie is very cynical and, like, disgusting, this movie is almost the opposite of that, where it's like, yeah, the world's ending, but, like, we're just kind of hanging out, and, like, up until, like, end of the second act and then the third act, like, we're just hanging out and having fun. It's a very chill movie, which is not what I remember about watching this the first time, I don't know, like, 10, 15 years ago.
We don't need to count bullets. The amount of bullets that we have are going to last forever. We can just fire into anything.
We can just shoot into cars without thinking about...
It's fine!
No, you know what the great thing is about the zombies is that they lost their sense of hearing. So when we're firing Uzis into the car in the open streets...
When we were watching it, that didn't come up once. We never mentioned it. That's so funny. Oh, that didn't occur to me at all.
Like, I get it. It's like they're kids. They're not gonna think clearly. But like, especially when they establish that the character's like, yeah, our dad was like an army vet, and like he kind of like raised us as though we were his sons, and like we fired guns and all this stuff. That happens that happens before, and then they follows them up with them doing that. And it's like, you should know better than to do that.
Well, not only that, at this point Regina's seen a zombie. Samantha hasn't, despite the fact that she's the one that has the nightmare about it. But, like, Hector is like, no, I was, like, sleeping with my girlfriend in the back of the truck, and then we got out of the truck, she got grabbed by zombies and pulled apart. There was tons of them. We're not going to see that.
We're not going to see that. No, this is very much an indie movie. It's like, the world has ended in 3 locations.
Yeah. That said, we somehow got to film in what seems like downtown LA.
I still don't know how they got away with that.
They must have stolen some shots on the... I don't know how they did it.
I imagine it was very Ed Wood style, where it's like, oh, the cops are here. We don't have a permit. Scram!
Yeah,
and then they're just scattered to the 4 winds.
Or it's just like, waiting. No cars are coming. Go now! That's what I'm thinking.
They did the street hockey strategy where it's like they're filming car and then everyone just goes away. All right, get back into it. We're good.
All right, great. We did that. We can stitch that together. Let's get the reverse so we have pieces to like sew it together. That's kind of what I was thinking the whole movie.
Yeah, no, and the indie spirit of the movie, I wouldn't be surprised if it was very run and gun in that way.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And like fundamentally I enjoyed this movie. I thought this movie was very fun. I think it like deserves its cult status. It was great. I really just, like, I had a very fun time watching this movie. Silly though it may be.
It's very silly, but I feel like the difference is that it's wearing it on its sleeve.
Yeah.
And so it's very tongue firmly in cheek with it, which is great. But I feel like it's interesting, too, because it starts to address some of these, like, bigger ideas. And I don't know it's whether or not, like, the cast or the writer, director, like, it wasn't what they were intending to do. Or if it's just they didn't have the money to do it.
Yeah.
But I feel like there are some bigger themes in that original that we can kind of pull at. That the original just didn't really go too far into. I would argue because it's like, cool, that's a great idea. That's a really deep theme and concept.
That would cost $7.
Yes, we have $7 and like the studio wants this in post like 3 days ago. We can't do that.
I genuinely am so curious because I didn't look it up until right this second. But like, how much did this movie cost? Because like, we say that because like filming downtown, all of that stuff. But then like they also have like the whole bunker for science stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm looking it up because like I feel like this is going to be one of those things where it's like it cost how much?
Yeah,
this movie by Tom Ebert.
300. Wait, it says 3 million. What does that mean?
That's the opening weekend.
Okay.
The budget is $700,000.
Wow.
Which again, for 1984, is a lot of money. But also, it could be so much more. Because then, like, opening weekend, it made $3.5 million.
Yeah.
That means this is a pretty rousing success.
Oh, yeah. Which is also weird why nothing ever came of it.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, no, like, TV show filmed in Canada, no sequel, nothing.
It's true. I don't know how you would do a sequel to this movie.
I could see it. I could totally see it. And again, we can get into this more, but, like, you could explore the world at large, where it's like, okay, a sequel could be like, oh, you know what? Maybe they're on a road trip, and, like, they pass through Vegas, and we see what Vegas is like and all this.
We got a mini road trip. We went down to San Diego.
Please, I saw the craftsman interiors of those houses. You're not buying it. I'm not buying it for a second that was San Diego. That was clearly like, okay, you shot this either close to downtown, like 5 minutes from where you guys were shooting in the streets, or you went to Pasadena. There's no way this is San Diego.
We'll get to it later, but Hector, like, goes to, like, check on his mom, his family, to see if anyone survived. None of them do. He doesn't find anybody. But then he's going to leave, and a little zombie kid is at the door who chases him down.
Yeah.
Whose kid do you think that was? It's definitely someone's.
It was someone's.
Because I don't know.
That was interesting to me, too, is this movie does feel breezier than, like, certain other films at the time.
Yeah.
but they still do some dark stuff in it. Like, yeah, that kid died. Like, but you never feel like the full weight of it.
Yeah.
The way you would in, like, again, something like a Return of the Living Dead, where it's like, no, you're sitting in the muck of it all. Which...
You want to know something wild about that kid?
What?
He grew up to be a stunt coordinator. He was the stunt coordinator on Malcolm in the Middle. He did stunts on Terminator 2 Judgment Day. He was the stunt coordinator on Land of the Lost in Battle... Oh, no, I guess he's Cornelius in Battle for the Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
He also might have just been a very small man.
It could. I was going to say, it could be that he was a stunt coordinator specifically for, like, children's stunts. Because the first couple you listed, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I see the way that kid took a tumble in Night of the Comet. Like, that dude was falling over glass tables and, like, eating it constantly as he was chasing after Hector.
So I'm looking at a couple pictures of him, and it looks like he is just a very small man. So I don't even think he was a kid.
Well, there we go.
That's hysterical.
That's funny.
Yeah, because I'm seeing pictures of him in, like, Land of the Lost, and he is standing next to whatever the lead actress, Shannon Day, and he is 1.5 feet shorter than her.
Okay, so it could have just been, like, he was tiny enough to play, like, a 10-year-old. Huh.
I mean, like, if he was in Land of the Lost in 1973, and then this movie came out 11 years later...
I thought you meant he ended up being in Land of the Lost, like, the Will Ferrell movie.
Oh, no. He was in a movie in 1973.
Oh, man. If you ever do the inverse of this show, Unideal Remake, where you tackle remakes that didn't quite stick the landing, the Land of the Lost.
I mean, I haven't covered Land of the Lost, but I totally would. But that's a has-been.
Yes.
Because it's been remade.
Yes.
But yeah, anyway, so let's walk through the movie as it exists. So basically the premise of this movie is that Regina Belmont is good at arcade games, I guess, and is working at a movie theater. Where she's hooking up with a dude named Larry.
I love the fact that, like, they establish her life's not in a great spot. Because if you're hooking up with a film projector named Larry, like, that doesn't sound like you're in an ideal space lot in life.
No.
And I love the way she plays the video games, too. Because she does that classic thing that every movie does, where it's like, well, you can't just sit there and play the video game and just, like, your face is just, like, dead behind the eyes and you're just like... You know, like, you look like a zombie when you're playing games. But it's a movie, so she has to be like... She's, like, moving her body in a way that is so unrealistic to anyone I know that would play video games.
I mean, fundamentally, as the girlfriend from the last Starfighter... the Starfighter...
That is! I knew, like, because she has such a, like... And I don't mean this in a negative way. She has such a unique face that it's like... I've seen her in stuff
before. Which is good, because they all had the same hair.
All the same, like, plastic curls.
To the point where, like, they kept all having the same hair. So when, like, the sister and the stepmom are arguing, I'm like, okay. To the point where when the nightmare is happening, I thought it was just a cutaway to someone else. Because I was like, it's just the same hair on a different human being.
Yeah.
And then the sister woke up, I was like, oh, that was her.
I love the fact that that's the stepmom, too. Because you first see, and it's like, yeah, the two of them with their hairstyles, like... Yeah, that's the mom.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, stepmom. Okay.
I ended up doing a little bit of, like, the sisters aren't, like... They're stepsisters, but whatever. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, it's very strange. But yeah, like, fundamentally, like, no one's performance in this movie I thought was bad. I thought everyone did a fantastic job.
Oh, yeah, everyone's at least solid.
But, so Regina sleeping with Larry, and it's on the night of the Comet, and so everyone is having Comet parties, and, like, the stepmom, Doris, is like, no, you're not working late. Your job doesn't matter. Come home and be at the party I threw where I'm going to be hooking up with the neighbor or something, but also the Comet.
Yeah, that was a weird, like, a weird hill to die on, especially because Regina establishes I'm 18, and it's like, that's so bizarre. Like, It just feels like she's having a weird power trip.
Yeah, but I think it's also one of the things where it's like, if we make her unlikable and we don't hate her, then we won't spend the entire movie being sad that she died.
Right. Which, I was about to say spoiler alert, and I was like, I'm pretty sure people that are going into this podcast know.
We're giving a synopsis of the whole movie. Spoilers are going to happen. But, like, so the comet happens, and the thing I said in the intro, if you just see the comet, you get dusted. Red dusted.
Red dusted, like Mars dusted.
Yeah.
Even though So I watched this movie with my partner the second time, and they establish in the movie that it's calcium powder. Like, that's the only thing that's left of the person, is that the comet, if you have full exposure to it, your body just disintegrates except for calcium powder. And my partner started going into this scientific diatribe, like full Bill Nye, like calcium powder wouldn't be colored like that. If anything, that would be something like iron or copper in your body.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah, especially because like calcium's in your bones.
Yes.
Does it dust your bones and make them red?
That's the weird thing is like I'm guessing that's the case because the powder is like left over in the sky from the comet, turns the sky all red.
Yeah.
And so it becomes this whole visual motif throughout the movie, which looks cool,
Fair.
granted, but it doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a magical comet that turns people to dust or zombies.
Right.
We're not looking for logic here.
And like, so literally everyone at the party gets dusted, but people who are like in a building but with open windows or something where they could be like kind of see part of the light a little bit exposed, as we'll find out from the scientists in the bunker, if they have their vents open, it was enough for it to get inside.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a perfect seal. You get zombified, but basically it's getting dusted but slower.
Yes, and the rate at which you become a zombie and then become dust is entirely dependent on how exposed or how underexposed you were.
Yes.
Because there are some people who are already zombies by the time our lead character Regina wakes up in the projector booth having, what's the phrase, they made it with Larry.
Good for her. She went all the way.
She went all the way. And I hope it was for more than $15. Which she never collected. Which she never collected. So when she starts getting, like, she wakes up, she comes out of the theater, door gets locked on her, and she's stuck outside. When we first meet the zombies, it's like, okay, so this guy was, like, kind of exposed because he was in an alley, but not as exposed as someone who got full exposure. But then there are people who are indoors who... The whole idea is that if you were in a fully steel-coated container of any kind,
yes,
you were not exposed whatsoever to the dust, and therefore, even though it's in the air, you will not become a zombie. You're bulletproof, basically. You're immune, which is very confusing.
Yeah, well, especially when we get to the bunker later. But basically, like, Larry goes outside for some reason. He was gonna, like, go on an errand or something, and so as soon as he opens the door, he gets immediately clocked over the head by a zombie homeless guy. And so when Regina eventually goes outside, she's like, wow, the motorcycle's still here, and here are his keys. That's crazy. And then the zombie guy walks out holding a slab of meat. And it's just like, he drops his meat and goes after Regina, but she makes a break for it and gets away on the motorcycle. But, like, just a hunk of meat.
Yeah.
They just went to the grocery store, picked up a hunk of meat.
Yes, like, went to the butcher and was just like, do you just have, like, a nasty, like, about to expire slab of steak, like, thing on a hook? It's like, yeah, here you go, $5.
Yeah.
I also love the fact there are two... I gotta say, I appreciate that Regina catches on fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Like, not enough... It wasn't enough that, like, she saw the clothes and dust and went, something's wrong. But she did eventually catch on as soon as the homeless guy starts coming at her going, come here!
Yeah.
Which, I know the homeless guy's a zombie now, but, like, I love the logic of just like, yeah, she'll listen. Like, yeah, come here. Like, what is Regina gonna do? Go... Okay, yeah. What's up? Oh.
Yeah. Well, there's that, but then, like, and she just assumed she's being regular assaulted and manages to get away, and then she's driving the streets of LA and sees that they are empty. And at that point, she's like, oh, something's up.
Right, there's no traffic.
Yeah. She drives past a car that is just chilling with its radio on and is empty.
Yeah.
It's like, great. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. And so she gets home and walks into her house for her sister who is getting ready for cheerleader practice.
Like nothing's wrong.
Like nothing's wrong because basically she got in a fight with the stepmom. They both slapped each other and then the stepmom punched her. Which genuinely, it got all of us in the room. It was a good moment.
Yeah, no, it's a because you would just expect it to be the one slap and then Sam, the little sister, would be like, oh, how dare you? But I love, she goes back and then someone goes, what did you just, wham, winds back. Crazy.
It's great.
Yeah.
Don't hit your kids. But also that was great.
Yes. Those both can be true simultaneously.
Both can be true simultaneously. So she was like, she ran away, but she didn't get very far. She literally went and like slept in the shed.
Yes.
And that was it.
The steel shed, which somehow the like Home Depot steel shed was tight enough that it was able to protect her entirely.
Entirely.
It's fine.
And then she went back because she was like, well, if I'm going to keep running away, I should probably like get my stuff. And the sister comes home and was like, are you out of your... It's like the sister's just like listening to the radio, having a good time. Everything's fine. And so she's in like her cheerleader outfit for the rest of the movie. But the radio's on, and they hear someone, like, talking on the radio, and they're like, that's a human being. We should go to that, because Regina eventually convinces Samantha to go with her. So they go to the radio station. It's an automated system.
Wah, wah.
But someone is there, and he's got a gun!
And I'm going to just do this because my nerd brain freaked out when I watched it again. It's Chakotay from Star Trek Voyager.
Yeah!
Yay! Yeah, that was crazy. That's one of those things where it's like, I'm a huge Trekkie. So when I saw him show up, I was like, oh, that's Janeway's first officer from Star Trek Voyager. And like, I'm assuming this was like an early role for him, but he does pretty well.
I thought he did great.
Yeah, no. So they come across Hector, who holds him at gunpoint only because he needs to see their eyes.
Yeah.
Right? Which they give in and show him their eyes, you know, with a good bit of Valley Girl sass, which is part of what makes the movie fun.
Absolutely.
But it also establishes, like, okay, he's also seen a zombie. And like you had said earlier, Hector spent the night in the back of his steel truck, because he's a truck driver, you know? He had picked up a girl they had hooked up the night before. They wake up in the morning, open the back of the truck door, and it was like, oh, crazy. You know, like, sky's red. And she immediately gets, like, torn apart by just a bunch of zombies that we never see because this movie can only afford, like, their zombie budget's no more than, like, 3 at a time.
It had to spend all of its money on the bunker and clearing out downtown.
And turning the entire sky red. That was a practical effect. No, I'm joking. It's like they spent a bunch of money on, like, yeah, just get a bunch of, like, copper dust and, like, get one of those, like, crop dusting plates. Like, yeah, we gotta make this look real.
Yeah.
No, but,
this is one of his this is one of his earliest roles.
Yes.
I think his first role was in Zoot Suit as Lowrider.
Lowrider. Oh, iconic role, clearly.
Yeah.
So that's when we meet Hector, and then we spend a good amount of time in of them just kind of hanging out in the radio station for a bit. Getting to know...
They're waiting to see if anyone else shows up.
Yeah.
And also, they don't want to go outside because of all the zombies we keep hearing about.
That we keep hearing about. Never see more than 1, 2.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Sam, as Hector and Regina are, like, fighting, which then immediately 180s into a romantic thing after, like, their past 2 conversations are nothing but them, like, arguing with each other.
Especially when Regina is a little bit racist.
A little bit. That Barrio line, which I will admit I appreciated.
She also went Hector.
Hector. I remember when she said what do you got that gun for? Date night in the barrio? Me and my partner went, whoa! Yeah. But then the movie in real time reacted to it because Hector goes, date night in the barrio? Like, it's like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Just like, you know what? Okay, respect. Yeah. I appreciate you guys are calling out that our main character is a little racist.
A little racist.
But then, yeah, Sam's, like, the little sister, Sam, is just kind of, like, messing around with all the radio controls, ends up, like, playing radio host, which then causes the bunker people, as we'll call them, because it's implied that it's, like, a government scientist, but we never really find out, like, it's a specific agency or anything. It's just the government bunker.
So, from what I can tell, and I'm making some jumps, is that they knew the comet was coming, and they knew what it would do to people, so they built this bunker to be safe from the comet, but they fucked it up.
Because someone left the vents open, which let the dust get in, so they're on borrowed time before they eventually turn into zombies.
Yes.
But
which we don't know yet.
Yes. We only know that there is... I forget her name, but her name tag says White, so I'll call her Mrs.
Audrey White.
Audrey White. She is one of the scientists who keeps saying, like, why are we rescuing these survivors? We shouldn't be doing that. We should be hunkering down.
Yes.
She's painted to sort of be, like, the bad guy that's, like, being very exclusionary, like, no, we've got to stay here. We can't let the filthy outsiders in.
That twist 100% got everybody in the room. When it happened, I was like, that's really good.
It's very clever.
I'm a huge fan of this.
So she's set up to kind of be the villain.
Yes.
But then the other scientists are like, no, we hear this radio broadcast. There are other survivors that weren't affected by the dust.
We have to go get them, bring them here.
Yes, under the first impression is that, yes, you're bringing them here to protect them.
Yes.
Silly us thinking that
Turns
that's
out.
the case.
Audrey White is played by Mary Woronov, the Acme VP from Looney Tunes Back in Action.
Oh, God.
Which was the reference that Presley made in the room when we were watching.
Because confirm for me, Sam, since you have it up.
Yeah.
She is the female lead in Eating Raoul, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so that's what I know her from, is that and Chopping Mall. very eclectic
And
career.
Death Race 2000.
Well, of course, she comes from the Roger Corman camp, so
Yeah.
like it makes sense. There's a lot of folks in this movie who like got their start doing Roger Corman movies back in the 70s.
This feels like the sort of fun thing that it's like, oh, well, we're all friends and having fun. This feels like an obvious next step.
Exactly.
But yeah, so they're like, we gotta go rescue these kids. So we're like, okay, great. There's a ticking clock on rescues happen. We just have to survive until the rescue happens.
Yes.
But meanwhile, Hector's like, hey, so I'm in LA, I survived, but I have a family that I do care about. I would like to go see if they also survived. And so he's like, I'm going to drive down to San Diego. He should bring Regina and Samantha with him. Doesn't for some unknown reason.
I think the implication is that they're waiting at the radio station because it's fairly secure. Like, zombies haven't busted the doors down. I'm like, nah. And also that it's the central point of communication because there's a phone line there where they received that call initially from the scientists.
That's true.
And it's a radio station that is active because they established that telecommunications are down, but certain electric stuff is still powering, like fridge.
I agree that the movie suggests that, but then they leave the radio station to go get Daddy's guns.
Yes, they end up going to the mall for fun fashion montage
After shooting up a random car on the street.
Yes, because they're bored.
And it's like the sister's feeling bad. She's like, there's one guy left in the entire planet. Of course he's interested in you. And she's like, I don't think either of us was interested in each other. Both of us had been hooking up with someone else who died the night before, so it'd be a crazy rebound, but I guess we're interested in each other.
Yeah.
Because movie. Tell you what, you know what'll make you feel better? Let's go shopping.
Yeah, of course. Set to the most 80s song, which is where my theory is that is where most of the budget went, is to getting the rights to Girls Just Want to Have Fun by Cyndi Lauper.
Well, here's the thing. It was just Girls Want to Have Fun, but it was not her cover of it.
Oh, it wasn't?
No.
Okay. Because I was listening to it, it's, you know what? I should have known by the lack of the weird Cyndi Lauper sound that she just loves to make.
Which, again, I would have never been able to identify, but Presley, who is watching the movie, was like, that's a different version. Okay, I believe you.
That would make sense how the movie got away with it then, because it's like, oh, cool, it's a different cover of the song, so it'll cost like a nickel.
Yeah, well, yeah, so like when we were watching the credits and that one came up, I was like, it's by this person. I'm trying to find it here, but I'm not going to.
So they end up going to the mall while Hector, I have to resist the urge to call him Chicote. That is, while Hector goes to San Diego and finds his family, of course, turned to dust.
Yes.
He has a run-in with a zombie kid, narrowly escapes, starts booking it back to LA. They go to a mall where a few of like the weird mall incel like stock boys become like incel zombies.
Partial zombies. They're in the process of turning, but they're also losing their minds about it.
Yes. So they're still like cognizant, they're talking, but they're like full on like Mad Max cronies, like
100%. They're like, you've been stealing from our mall, my mall.
I hope you have credit cards. Ooh.
Which will definitely still work.
Yeah, no, that dude was channeling, like, his inner Cesar Romero Joker, the leader of, like, the little zombie gang.
The sort of thing where it's like, well, obviously this is Crispin Glover.
If he hadn't...
this was in the 80s, so, like, obviously this should be Crispin Glover.
Yes, it felt very much like Crispin Glover would have played this role, but, like, pre-Back to the Future.
Yeah.
But the scientists, right at the end, come in, save the day, shoot up the zombie incel stock boys, and then, the younger sister, Sam, has this rash, and it's this recurring thing like, oh, I get rashes when I'm anxious. The clear implication is that, oh, she is slowly starting to turn. The scientists are like, we're going to leave her here, but we're going to take Regina, and we're going to go back to the bunker.
And Regina, for some reason, is cool with that. She's like, it's fine if my sister, who miraculously survived, and I get separated.
It was, I think the implication was that it was Audrey White and then this other scientist stay behind because they're going to wait for Hector. And so I think that's why Regina's cool with it, is like, oh, well, we know Hector. You guys are going to wait up for him, and then they're all going to come back to the bunker.
Correct. That is what is implied by the movie, but I still think that's insane.
Yes, it is still insane, but the movie's at least trying to give you a reason.
Yes.
It's a very shabby reason, but it's a reason.
Yes.
But the truth is that they're going to wait for Hector to see if he's okay, but they jump to conclusions that Sam's rashes, okay, that's clearly like she's turning.
Yeah.
And so Audrey injects her once everyone else leaves. Audrey injects Sam, and she passes out. Clearly, like, oh, she's dead. She's been injected lethally.
Because Audrey has been set up this entire time as the villain, we're like, oh, well, because Samantha cannot go to the bunker, Audrey is mercy killing her.
Yes.
And we're like, well, that sucks. And then she gets in an argument with the other scientists and just out of nowhere shoots him because she wanted to immediately go back to the bunker, and he said, no, we need to wait for this other guy.
To see if he's okay, if he's still alive and, like, fresh and healthy.
Which, with that context, we now know, but at the time, we're just like, oh, she's gonna kill Hector, too, because she immediately kills, and we're just like, whoa, and don't understand.
Yeah. So then Hector comes back in a car that he stole because he finds, like, a fancy, like, 50s kind of hot rod style car, and he's dressed like Santa Claus, and it's, like, a bunch of gifts of stuff he stole on the way back up.
Why not?
Because it's Christmas time.
No idea how he dealt with the highway, because you're just going to be ducking and weaving the whole time, but it's fine.
It's fine. They didn't have enough budget to show that.
No.
But he comes back, he's like, oh, Merry Christmas, at the radio station, and it's Audrey there.
Yes.
And Audrey...
With a gun.
With a gun. And so the clear implication there is, oh no, now she's going to kill Hector.
Yeah.
But then she goes... take the paper on the table over there, and it's all these notes. And Hector's like, what are you talking about? At which point Audrey starts to elaborate, and we start to realize, oh, she's actually...
As she takes out another syringe and injects herself.
She's using her final moments to say, oh, I injected Sam with sodium pentothal. Yeah. So she's just passed out. She's fine. She's alive. The scientists fucked up because they built the bunker to protect them, but someone left the ventilation system on.
Yeah.
So they're all exposed, and they're on borrowed time and slowly becoming zombies. So they went out to get fresh bodies for reasons that we will discover soon.
Momentarily.
But she basically wanted to keep them all there so they could all die, basically without getting anyone else involved.
Yes.
And the scientists didn't want to do that.
It's this amazing twist where this person who's set up as the villain turns out to be a hero. And she's like, I'm getting zombified right now. I don't want to turn into a zombie, so she kills herself. And she's been wearing sunglasses the whole time. And then when she passes out, the sunglasses fall off and we can see that her eyes are starting to sink in. Like all of the stock boys at the mall had been. Because the big indicator of whether or not you're becoming zombified is your eyes start to sink in. Which I think is a pretty good indicator. I think that's very fun.
Yes. And it's also just a great reveal that it's like, oh... And now we know that Regina's in danger.
Yeah.
Because she's the only one that went with the scientists alongside. They keep cutting back and forth between sort of like our survivors and then the scientists in the bunker. And they established that they rescued two kids.
Yeah.
Right? Like a young boy and a young girl.
Yep.
Where they found them, not
Doesn't
important.
matter.
And it's like, it's this moment of like, oh, great. They found more survivors. They're safe. Little do we realize, and little does Regina realize until she slowly starts to come to the conclusion, because she's a Cancer, so she asks too many questions.
Yes.
In a fun joke. They're like screening her health, like, did you ever have anemia? Or like, have you ever had hepatitis? Have you ever been pregnant? Like all these weird questions.
All these weird standardized questions before you donate blood. Absolutely.
Yes. And then comes the reveal with these two other scientists in the bunker as they're like dealing with other people who are like just laid out unconscious.
Yep.
We come to find out that they have this notion that they can create an antidote.
Yes.
So they're taking all these fresh, healthy survivors, rendering them brain dead, and just turning them into like blood processing pouches of meat.
Yep.
So that way they can create an antidote. And what Audrey's been saying the whole time is that there is no antidote. It's only a serum that could keep the infection from spreading temporarily.
Yeah.
So again, it's just killing off healthy survivors.
To buy yourself another day.
Yes. And so they'll just have to keep doing that. Mm-hmm. At which point Regina starts to come to a similar conclusion and starts to escape.
And at which point Hector arrives and he convinces a guard to come over. He's like, do you want to see a girl? He opens up the trunk and Samantha's in there and we don't know that she's alive yet. And it's like, wow, he went and got... And then so the guard bends over. Samantha's like, I'm alive, motherfucker! Kicks his ass.
Pulls the guard in so that Hector can slam the trunk door down and kill the dude, which is... That's a pretty brutal... Like, we don't see anything, thankfully, but that's a pretty brutal, like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
So then they infiltrate the base. It becomes this whole thing where they gotta,
Yeah. Big action sequence / escape sequence. They go in, they bust Regina out as the scientists are basically becoming zombified themselves, which is kind of a cool progression, especially like the lead scientists. Mm-hmm. But luckily, Hector rigged all of their cars with explosions.
I think that was more just he grabbed gas tanks, because they say, when they get in the
He
car...
had dynamite.
Right, he did have dynamite.
He put dynamite underneath their cars.
He did rig explosives. Okay, because I don't remember that part. I just remember the other scientists getting in the car and going, "You smell gasoline?"
Yeah.
And then the lead scientist, who's basically gone full zombie, starts like mindlessly turning the keys like, "Rrr." And the other one's like, "No, don't!" Boom! Big explosion.
And it's like, Hector, I don't know where you learned how to do this, but okay. And
I guess I wish there was a line, because there's weird, like, one-off lines, like when he's escaping the kid in San Diego, he goes, "There goes the neighborhood."
Hector is the funniest one in the movie.
Yes.
By a wide margin.
Even though the script is clearly trying to position Sam as the funniest one.
Yes.
Hector is the funniest one.
Sam, the teenage cheerleader who's like 15, who after she has her nightmare, goes in the bathroom, strips down to her underwear, and like starts brushing her hair before more zombies show up, and then she wakes up screaming.
Yes.
Because again, 80s movie, we need to show the youngest one in her underwear.
Yes. I guarantee you, I don't know this for a fact, but I would not be shocked if this is the truth. Those scenes were not in the movie. And then some executive at like whatever studio it was before MGM bought it up was saying like, "It's a horror movie. There's too much of them talking. Okay, we need boobs in there. We need blood."
Yeah,
and so the director's
probably.
like, fine, okay. So my guess is that those are like pickups or reshoots or something.
They got Samantha Belmont, played by Kelly Maroney from Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, that tracks.
Cindy in Fast Times at Ridgemont High to go back and get in her underwear.
Yes. Sam, who I also want to establish, her and Regina, this is kind of a big movie culturally for any, like, millennials out there. Because if you look into it, these characters, these sisters, are the direct inspiration for a young Joss Whedon to write Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Really?
Yes. And so these characters are, like, the core inspiration for a pretty seminal TV series made by a horrible man.
Yes.
But we can appreciate the series,
We can appreciate the series.
But it's just crazy that that's, like, in retrospect, like, Night of the Comet is part of, like, the Buffy history, you know? That's
is
crazy
pretty
to think.
wild.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah. Anyways, so they narrowly escape. I'm assuming everyone else in the bunker's okay. Because,
Well,
like, the bunker doesn't explode.
I mean, everyone else in the bunker either gets turned into a zombie or was brain dead. They rescue the two other kids.
True.
And so basically the only people who could survive the bunker are Regina, Sam, Hector, and the two kids. So they do.
And they just get the hell out of there.
Yeah, which, fine. And then, yeah. Oh, also, apparently Regina, Catherine Mary Stewart, both in Last Starfighter and Weekend at Bernie's.
Let me ask you a question. Was she in Christine?
Let me find out.
Or am I just thinking of a different, like, very talented and beautiful actress with some very distinct eyebrows?
No, she was not in Christine.
Okay, so I'm thinking of a completely different talented actress with
Well,
very distinct eyebrows.
well, we're going to find that out right now as well. Christine, 1983.
Oh, the year before, okay.
Yeah, John Carpenter's Christine. That is Alexandra Paul.
Got it, okay.
Who went on later to be in Baywatch.
Which, fun fact, was a movie that I was going to propose for Ideal Remake before Brian Fuller was announced to be doing it through Blumhouse, so there we go.
Interesting.
Yes.
Here's the thing. I like doing remakes that are going to be coming out. The episode that's going to immediately be following this one is Running Man.
Oh, okay.
So, something to keep in mind. Like, I know a remake's coming out. Sam might not. He doesn't watch previews.
He's not a nerd like I am and goes down, like, Wikipedia rabbit holes like I do.
Sam's a different kind of... You're right. I'm not a nerd like you are, but I am equally, if not more, of a nerd.
A different flavor of neurotic.
Yes, exactly. Have to make sure we cover them all.
So, we fast forward to, I'm guessing it's like a couple days later, and...
All of the zombies have gone through the full process. They've been dusted. It's moved on. It's now an empty open world.
That rain has happened, which has rained all the dust away. So now it's clear skies, and relatively speaking, things are back to normal. Like, people are still dead, but the world is now habitable again.
Yes.
At which point we see Regina and Hector doing, like...
prom pictures with the kids for some reason.
It gave me the vibe of, like, the Sears family photo.
Yeah, this was just weird.
And for some reason, Regina has had this total 180 of like, I'm a mother now, and we are the cradle of what's left of civilization.
Yeah.
And, which I understand, like, they're now, like, they've been kind of, like, hang-jangled into raising these kids. Because, like, we don't know where they came from.
What else are we gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like Hector's become the father, Regina's become the mother, and then Sam is now this, like, rebellious aunt.
Yeah.
And so they're like, Sam's screaming at them from across the way, why are you guys waiting for the light? Because we have to teach the children that, like, there are rules.
Despite the fact that there is a light, like, electricity still works somehow.
Yes, which is something we can get into.
Yeah,
but, you know, Sam's like, oh, why are you waiting? We're fine. Starts to cross the street, at which point...
She's almost hit by a car.
Almost hit by a car, and it's like, oh, I guess there is a reason to, like, wait for the light to turn green. And we meet this guy, I forget his full name, but his initials are D, M, and K. And Sam's instantly just floored with him. To the point where, as soon as he pulls up and, like, takes off his sunglasses, she looks up to the heavens and goes, thank you.
This is Danny Mason Keener.
There we go.
Played by an actor named Mark Popple, whose most influential role is in the movie Christine.
Oh, Small World.
Yeah.
That tracks.
I don't know who he played in Christine, but...
I don't either. I'm trying to think. Maybe the best friend or one of the bullies. I don't know.
I'm going to find out.
Well, we'll see. But she just hops in his car, and Regina says, no later than midnight, young lady.
Yeah.
And as they drive off, we see his license plate says DMK, paying off a setup from the very beginning of the movie where we meet Regina playing Tempest, like an arcade game.
Yeah.
And mad that her best score is still second place to another player with the initials DMK.
Oh.
See,
Got it.
that's why it's a weird joke. Like, I think it's funny that that's the final joke, is that, oh, her little sister just ran off with someone who's been the bane of her existence at the beginning of the movie. Ha ha ha.
I thought it was just because that was his name, and look at this schmuck.
No, it was
He
very
was like, oh, you like
specifically-
this car? I have 23 of them. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, cool, he's taking advantage of the apocalypse. But then it had his license plate was his name, and I was like, oh, no, I think he just actually had 23 of them.
Yes, he's just that's what I picked up on, was that he was like a rich kid from Beverly Hills or something.
Yeah, that was my impression as well.
Yeah. Anyways, so the movie ends on like kind of like a Looney Tunes, like da 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 da, you know. So,
Yeah.
And then it just ends on them going out in the street and like playing football.
It doesn't matter.
It's fine. It's like supposed to be like a heartwarming ending.
It's a fun, cute ending for a very silly movie. So,
yes.
what are we going to do?
Here's the thing, and this is something I'm going to bounce off of that ending, because this is, I think, and this is ironic because thematically now we're weirdly 2 for 2 in this on my appearances on the show. They talk about, Regina mentions, you know, we're what's left of civilization. We have to set a good standard, right? I think that could be an interesting thing to play off of. Because, obviously, if you're going to make this in the modern day, the core concept here is following teenagers.
Yeah.
Like, teenagers coming of age in a post-apocalyptic world kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if you look at a lot of, like, current teenagers, like Gen Z, Gen Alpha, whatever's after that, right? A lot of them are detaching themselves from the world because they feel they have no control over it. A lot of them are detaching from politics, which, given the state of things, I understand that entirely.
Absolutely.
So then it's this interesting thing of, well, now the people that were running this world that you detach yourself from are dead. They're gone. And now you have the opportunity to, like, Lord of the Flies this situation into, like, how you see society, how you think society could be better. Like, you detached yourselves because you thought you had no control. Here you go. Here's that control. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I think... So obviously our movie is going to start similarly, like, I don't think Regina should be working in a movie theater.
No.
Unless you want to have that be some sort of metaphor for a struggling industry.
Yeah.
And it can very much be like the reason that she and Larry survive is because they're the only two people who actually went to the movies that night.
Yes.
And that reason, I do think it's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, I was thinking it'd be fun if you started at a similar place where she is, like, playing, like, the arcades. And then you have that, in the beginning of the original movie, of the theater manager being like, come help us, we're busy. And she's like, no, I'm being the score. I think it'd be fun if you subverted that, because he's like, what are you doing? I don't pay to play games. And then it's like, well, all right, I'll go help somebody. And then we cut, like, wide shot, it's just dead.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck else am I going to be doing right now?
Yeah, very much so. Yes, we do something like that. And I mean, I like the idea of she's hooking up with some guy. it's not gonna offer to pay her $15 to stay for the evening or whatever, because that was stupid.
Yeah, and
but
weird.
like she likes this guy, and then unfortunately he's gonna get killed and eaten by zombies because it is still a zombie movie, and that needs to happen.
Yes.
And like the rules of the Comet, I think, are necessary for any remake of the movie. You see the Comet, you get dusted. You kind of see the Comet, you turn into a zombie. You're completely protected. You're fine.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's the world we're going to be starting from. But I feel like what needs to be happening with these characters as the movie progresses is different things are going to have to get stripped away. Like, I feel like she's going to have to start the movie and she's going to have cell phone service, but then that's going to go away and this is going to go away and that go away. To the point where at the end of the movie, as Samantha's driving away with DMK, I turned to Presley and I said, "Hey, Presley, how long does gas last before it goes bad?" And the answer was like 6-9 months. This is diesel, maybe a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because fundamentally there's a lot of different like infrastructure and things in place that are kind of keeping the world together. And the metaphor we can be going with is, hey, infrastructure is important.
Yes.
Let's keep that going. And it's and then like we can even have the people in the bunker. And part of what makes the bunker interesting is that they've ignored all of the failing, crumbling infrastructure in the outside world because they've built their own. And it's these rich people kind of in like the bunker from like Kingsman.
Yeah,
where it's like, we built our own little world because like, fuck everyone else. Yeah. This is our world. We're going to be fine.
Which is something I wanted to address, is that, like, obviously, especially with the current state of politics and current people in office, I'll say that, I do think there are people in high places who would buy into this as more than just a conspiracy theory. Like, oh, the comet's coming. These scientists are saying it could kill us. And it was weird that the original movie is just like, yeah, the president, like all the the elite and all these people, like, they didn't buy it and they're all dead now.
Yeah.
I feel like the bunker does need to be a little bit bigger and kind of expand, like, especially these days, like, you're gonna have some people who are just like, oh yeah, please, like, I wish to invest $10 million in the bunker in exchange for, like, a reserved room, right? And, like, a single bed, a double bed. Like, the more money you invest, the better the amenities are for your share of the bunker.
And the more expensive is the further down you get, the more away from. But, like, you gotta give the original Night of the Comet credit. Like, how were they supposed to know during Reagan's first term that politicians weren't to be trusted and that everything was getting stripped away from them?
Yes, and this is another detail that I thought would be fun, because I feel like the dynamics of how the comets would impact the world are different.
Yeah.
Because you have, first off, the way that it would be communicated would be different. You'd have a lot less people interested in the comet, and you would have a lot more people who would be interested in the comet as a conspiracy theory. There would be people like who listen to like RFK, like, the comet's gonna kill you and like eat away at your bones. And there are gonna be more people that take the necessary precautions, who are like doomsday preppers and all this.
I just figured out how we can do this.
Okay.
So in the movie, comet, partial exposure, nothing. And so like those are the 3 levels. But I think in our version, it's you see the comet dusted.
Mm-hmm.
You watch a video of the comet, or you watch it on your phone, zombified, and then you don't do any of that, nothing. And so the reason why all of the rich people in the bunker are exposed is not because someone left a vent open. It's because they're like, well, we're going to be safe, but like it'd be crazy if we didn't watch all the poor people get dusted. And they're all watching what's happening to everyone else in the world, but not helping. And because they then saw the comet through all of their screens and televisions and everything, that they all got zombie level exposed. You can, like in the mall, it's because they were working at the Best Buy, and so it's like all the TVs everywhere. So they weren't outside, but it was the screen full of TVs.
I would say an interesting wrinkle to add into that, just to like add more detail, is that maybe exposure, because it's clearly a sensation of both exposure to the lights, because that's one thing they establish about the comet, is that it's going to be this crazy light show. It's like, and then when the comet goes by, you see all these people's faces, and there's like these frenetic blasts of light. What if just exposing yourself to the lights, like, turns your brain crazy, but doesn't zombify you per se, right? Like, exposure to the comet or the dust is what disintegrates your body. So then you have all these people going full, like, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Crazies.
It needs to be a little bit both, because people who were protected from that need to be safe. Like, we don't want Regina and Sam and Hector to be outside breathing in the dust, and that turns them crazy too.
True, because that is, in the original movie, like, the dust in the air, it doesn't turn them. Okay, no, you're right.
But we can do both, where if you're exposed to the light from the comet and the the trail that it leaves behind, if you're exposed to both of those things, you get dusted.
Yeah.
Because, like, the sky was red.
Yeah.
And so, like, there was clearly stuff in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Just exposure to the dust on its own, nothing happens.
Yeah. And I feel like what would be interesting, too, is... Because, again, we established that Regina and Sam are, like, their dad was kind of like a veteran, clearly had some PTSD, was kind of dragging them along for the ride, which is why they know guns and stuff.
Yep.
I feel like the more up-to-date version of that would be, he's still a war veteran, but he was also a doomsday prepper.
Oh, yeah.
So immediately it's like they have resource and all this stuff. And so the first thing they do is, like, I feel like Regina would, like, wake up the morning after, see all this stuff and go, something's wrong. Like, there wouldn't even be the moment of her not realizing. I feel like the second she steps outside and sees, like, clothes everywhere and everyone's dusted and there's no traffic, there's no one on speakerphones, there's no one live streaming, like, what the fuck, right?
Yeah. Because, like, it shouldn't be that Samantha was, like, sleeping in the shed. She was sleeping in the bunker.
Exactly. And so...
Why wasn't Dad in there? Mom wouldn't let him. She said he had to watch the comet.
Yeah. But Dad was kind of like, I don't know about this.
But, well, and here he is, still not being sure about this.
Yeah. And then you could have Hector... Yeah, you could have Hector be someone that maybe followed Regina and is like, please let me in. Like, let me into the bunker. I'm cool, right? Because then it's like, because that's, you have to bring Hector back in somehow.
Oh, I still think I don't mind the radio. I don't mind all of that, because I think Hector can be somewhat like we're collecting the different people who survive different ways.
Yeah.
And I think having different stories of anyone who isn't outside, isn't looking at their phone, I think are two good stories.
Yeah.
Regina isn't looking at her phone because she's in a movie theater, and you're not allowed to look at your fucking phone in a movie theater. Also, she was hooking up with some guy.
Yeah.
Sam isn't looking at her phone because she's in the bunker and it doesn't work down there.
And she was also, like, the way that it's established in the movie, it seems like she was kind of having a moment, like, maybe kind of crying. So, like, yeah, she wouldn't be looking at her phone then. She's having, like, kind of a panic attack, it almost feels like.
Well, you can also say that,
her mom decked her.
Her mom decked her, and so she ran out of the house so fast that she left her phone behind.
True, yeah. So she couldn't even, she's like, I left my fucking phone.
And so that gives us the thing of, like, they should still have their phones and things will eventually shut down on the phone, but the reason they can't, like, go on Instagram or TikTok or anything is because those sites aren't working anymore. Mm-hmm. And so, like, those immediately go. And so they can't, like, watch any old footage of the comet.
Okay.
Because I don't want them... Because if we're doing, like, watching footage of the comet also turns you crazy, I don't want them accidentally watching anything.
True. Okay. So...
But that means that we can then, when they go to the mall, the mall crazies are like, this is great, it's the New World Order, we're going to be all powerful, and you're going to join us. And he sits them down, and he has a cassette tape. We recorded this last night because at the mall we record everything. And he's going to show them cassette of the comet to turn them zombies.
Yes, so that more soldiers for the army.
Yeah.
I do feel like, and this is another thing we can go into, is that I do like that sort of slow degradation of technology, which is almost why I like the idea of, like, setting up almost a ticking clock.
Okay.
Like the idea of, like, okay, there's dust in the air, like, great. So maybe if we just, like, hang out here until Saturday, it's supposed to rain Saturday.
Well, there's the other question of, we know the way the movie ends now.
Yeah.
Let's build to the ending that you want. Like, do you want it to be kind of a happy-go-lucky, we managed to survive? Or do you want the ending of the movie to be like, oh no, wait, we were outside, we did breathe in some of the dust. Cut to credits.
No, because I feel like that goes against the spirit of the original.
It's the spirit of the original, but that doesn't necessarily have to mean that...
But also there's so many, like, movies with horror elements that, like...
And sad.
And so that's a big thing for me right now, is that it's really frustrating that so many movies end on a dark note just to be like, ooh, spooky, right? And so I feel like it's like, you're building it up, like, we want to like these characters, we want to see them survive. We don't want to do this last minute thing of, like, oh, we think everything's all right, and then they start turning, like, zoom in on their eyes, and then they open them up, and they go red and crazy, fuck you, everyone's dead, leave. Like, I don't want to do that. I want it to be, like, especially if we're talking about, like, Gen Z and Alpha, like, the way that they end up, like, saving what's left of humanity is by engaging, with the world at large.
Yeah.
I feel like ending it on a dark note would go against that message.
I agree.
And so I feel like it should still be, it doesn't necessarily have to be one-to-one, like, the weird parental, like, oh, well, we have to become good Christian family. Like, that's a little too much, but...
I think the way we can do that is, I think when we get to the bunker at the end, we have all of these people who are getting super zombified, and instead of, like, blowing them up, because they all watch the video, is they figure out a way to get the living people out, and then they close the bunker, but they hit a button so that all of the screens in the bunker start playing the Comet over and over and over and over again, super exposing all of the zombies until eventually they dust.
Right, like, almost like putting it on fast forward.
Yes.
The process, yeah.
But in doing so, they, like, set it to be, like, for 6 hours or something, and if they go back 6 hours later, they now have this completely stocked, fully loaded, completely survivable bunker that could keep them alive for the rest of their natural-born lives, and they could just live there, or they could go and track down survivors and engage with them and share this with as many people as possible.
Yes.
Which is what they should be doing, engaging with the world, taking it apart, and doing what they can to make things better.
Yes. And I feel like another element to kind of bring in something that I feel like might have been missing from the original, just because of, again, lack of budget, lack of time, they couldn't go... explore the full scope of the idea.
$16 and a ham sandwich.
Exactly. This time we're gonna have $50 and 3 ham sandwiches with
Whoa!
cheese.
I didn't know we got an angel investor.
I know, right? It's crazy. So yeah, we got this investor. You know, he's really big into crypto. He says he can give us $10 million.
No. So what are you thinking?
So I am thinking that we need to explore more of other people, right? Like, other people who may not have been affected or have been affected, right? Like, I think there need to be other doomsday preppers, but, like, maybe they're going too far. There need to be... A note that I have written down here is that I feel like what I would love to see are other doomsday preppers, but they're, like, full, like, RFK supporters, and they're kind of, like, smelling their own farts a little bit right now. It's like... Fine, you were right about one thing. That doesn't mean you get to come out here and be like, I am a prophet. Like, yeah. I am the smartest man alive. Everyone has to listen to me. And kind of like conflict with those types of people on top of like the Warriors-esque zombie gangs.
It does need to be a more populated movie.
Yes. And there need to be conflicts about like how to address this, that like, maybe...
Because there's also the element of, like, Doomsday Prepper when all they saved were guns.
Yes, exactly.
That's not food.
Yeah.
You sure have a lot of them.
Yeah. And also on top of it, too, like, I think it'd be funny if, like, let's say Reggie, Sam, and Hector are in the bunker. Something happens and they need to, like, abandon the bunker with what little supplies they can gather. I feel like the first thing they would do from there is, like, go to a Costco.
Yeah.
And just, like, barricade up, at which point they could meet other survivors. And maybe a lot of them are around their same age, maybe a little younger. And there's a lot of conflict between the younger people and the older people, because the older people are the doomsday preppers, who are like, you know, like, they prepared for this their whole lives, and like, RFK told me that the brain waves would, you know, all the da-da-da-da-da. And then you have the younger people who, like, survived out of sheer dumb luck, and are now kind of like, I mean, I guess, I don't know what to do, I'll listen to them. And Reggie could be the voice that's like, no, there is truth to, like, yes, they prepared and we didn't, right? But they're all idiots. They're all dummies in every other regard. Like, we have to, like, listen to our hearts and, you know, like, basically unintentionally sort of create this new movement with all the younger people in this, like, barricaded off Costco.
And then there's the one person who's helping, who's still serving hot dogs and insisting they still cost $1. Even in the apocalypse, the price doesn't go up, but it also doesn't go down.
Yeah.
$1 for these hot dogs.
I feel like that would be a thing that a lot of the older people might do, is like, they could almost introduce that line of like, we are the cradle of civilization. We have to keep things moving. And then Regina could kind of unintentionally step up and be the leader of the youth and be like, yes, we need to like establish like society, but we need to let go of what was broken and what didn't work and like create a new society.
Yeah. Like, I can appreciate that you're still trying to barter with money, but that doesn't really matter anymore. You're all fighting over supplies inside of a Costco. How long do you think this Costco is going to last?
Exactly. Like, how long do you think the sinks are going to still have potable water?
Yeah.
Like, there's only so long we can do this. We need to, like, be smart, prepare accordingly, and, like, rebuild anew with new rules.
We need to actually go rob the REI and get the iodine and the water purifiers that people use for camping. That's something worth fighting over. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they'll, oh, damn it,
Man.
I didn't mean that so literally.
And so, like, people go off and do that, and that gives them an excuse to start interacting with the ham radio or whatever else people get left behind. Because, again, if they're in a Doomsday Prepper bunker, someone who does it well, he is going to have a ham radio.
Yes.
Because there is no Doomsday Prepper worth their salt who doesn't also get weirdly into ham radio.
Yes. Which, that would be a funny line, too. Like, Hector's like, there's a radio in here, and Reggie and Sam are like, well, yeah, any Doomsday Prepper worth their salt would know, like, you have to have a ham radio. Like, we're not stupid.
It communicates on AM frequencies, which are always going to go down because they're not supported by an electrical network.
Yes. And...
I mean, okay, sure.
Yeah. And I feel like that could be a fun thing, too, is maybe at first they start to, like, look at social media to be like, maybe there's people live streaming, like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? All this dust everywhere.
Yeah.
But then inevitably it's like, okay, that goes down after, like, what, a day or two tops, and then from there it's like, all right, we got to do this old school.
Yeah,
because then at least that gives that a moment to, like, maybe they start to see, like, oh, someone's live streaming in Singapore, and, like, we get these moments of, like, oh, we can see how it's affecting the world around them. And then but then that could be the moment where it's like,
well, because there's also the aspect of, like, it was night on this hemisphere.
Yeah, exactly. And
what was going on in the other hemisphere when it was day and you couldn't see a comet?
They kind of do that a little bit. When the news broadcast is happening, it's like, you know, the comet has already passed Newfoundland and, you know, telecoms are down across the board over there. Like, da-da-da. It's like we could explore that a little bit in the age of social media.
Yeah.
Before eventually and inevitably taking away the phones.
Of course.
But yeah, I feel like that's sort of the big thing, is exploring sort of like this grasp for power in the post-apocalypse, and sort of like, no, we need a fresh start. Like,
well, there's also people who are going to start killing zombies, and then they're going to start killing other people because, like, well, what if they become zombies? I'm not going to take any chances.
Basically what this is that it's a fight for all these people who all end up kind of having main character syndrome.
Yeah.
And sort of Regina basically pushing the need to break past that and, like, go for, like, we need to be a full, like, post-scarcity, like, commune, you know, like.
But that is the problem. It's everybody who's, like, everyone's in the same apocalypse as you, but everyone has seen all these apocalypse movies where it's always about the main character, and so everyone else is going to be like, yeah, I have to survive. I'm the cradle of civilization.
Exactly.
This McDonald's that I'm in is the last stand of civilization. This Costco I'm in is the last stand of civilization. This bunker that I have with all of my food is the last stand of civilization. This retirement home I found is the last stand. And so Regina has to be like, okay, sure. But what if they're all the last stand of civilization, then that means that that's it and it goes away when you do. Wouldn't it be great if civilization actually got to continue? And
it's one of those things where it's like, congratulations, you ran out of resources and now you need to go invade the other McDonald's down the street. Congrats, you just established, like, the notion of borders.
Yes.
Like, come on, we have to think bigger than this.
Yeah.
And it could be a running joke, too, where it's like, initially they hear it, and then, like, by the time they hear the fifth or sixth person hears it, it's like maybe Sam just, like, punches them, just like, I'm so sick of hearing them say this over and over again. I am the last cradle of civilization. I am the last cradle, you know, and it's like, oh, like, we've heard this so many times. Like, get over yourself.
Perfect. Love that.
And I do feel like the Beacon is, like, the final boss of confronting that notion, because it's all the rich elite people, like the Elons and, like, the Peter Thiels of the world, and, like,
yeah, they call themselves the Cradle.
Boom, there you go. And it's like, we are the cradle of civilization, yet we are also like the beginnings of a fresh start.
Well, we're the cradle of civilization. Yeah. All good things first begin in the cradle.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. That's perfect. And so, that could be really fun. On top of the fact that, like, this city should just be populated by, like, I want to, like, this version's idea of fun in games, right? The second act, like, yeah, we can do the mall stuff where maybe they go around and, like, have some fun, right? But I do think it would also be fun to start seeing, like, the Warriors-esque gangs start popping up. We're the social media themed gang, and, like, we're replicating, like, influencer live streaming.
Well, people who go, like, full Mad Max, they, like, completely deck out their, like, school bus or their, like, a VW bus, and then they just drive past and they're, like, all, like, Mad Maxed out, and Regina goes, okay, Do you guys want some, like, pudding cups we found?
Yeah.
Yeah!
Or it's this thing where they're already decked out for that, and it's like, guys, it's been a day.
Yeah.
And it's like, they were just ready from the get-go.
Ready.
They wanted the Mad Max. And that's like one gang, and they keep showing up, and everyone's like, oh, God, these guys again.
Yeah.
Like, these guys are, like, everyone finds them annoying.
They're the Team Rocket.
Exactly. Is they just keep showing up and getting their ass beat, and then they go off. Like, that could be a fun running
We've come
joke.
for your Costco hot dogs!
Like, yeah.
And then just, like, everyone in Costco just, like, takes out, like, the baseball bats and just starts beating them. It's like, no, come on! It took me so long to put all my spikes on!
Or it's like they all pull out the guns, and it's like, oh, so you guys are the reason the REI is empty. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Damn it. Okay. And then they just kind of, like, saunter off, like, come on, guys. Maybe we can go back to the Del Taco.
Maybe we can find a
something.
Sam's Club.
Yeah.
But Sam's Club sucks!
It's like, shut up. Like, they should have the vibe of, like, 13-year-old kids playing Mad Max, where it's like, they're not thinking anything through. They're always the last to the fight,
Yeah.
and they think they're the one. It's like, everyone's like, yeah, just go, get out of here.
Yeah. There's also the element of, like, man, I can't even go to the Target. I still can't find any Pokemon cards anywhere. And it's the apocalypse.
Or, like, someone goes to one of those, like, Walmart Pokemon card machines,
Yeah, yeah.
smashes it open, and it's just like,
Or they open it up and they're like, all right, gang, now I'm finally going to open these. They set up their camera and they're like, all right, let's see if I get any pulls.
see,
oh man,
that's what I'm saying. There should be a gang of people who are so social media obsessed
Yeah.
that they have to rebuild it by, like, screens made out of
Yes.
cardboard where they're talking through the cardboard hole.
100%.
And it's like they're replicating YouTube, and then, like, people are watching it, hitting, like, thumbs up or, like, hitting comment, and
Yeah.
they're just like, this sucks. Go back to live streaming in the park or something, right? Like, there should be people that are, like, trying to replicate that, because it's LA. Of course they're going to be.
And if they are ruled by their social media king, because at the time of the apocalypse, that person had the most followers, they can be doing a screen airing content, and the king goes, bored, and swipes up, and then the person who was doing that content gets launched from the trebuchet.
Oh, I was gonna say they just get shoved out of the way, and the next person comes in like a giant, like, line of people, just like, hey everybody, I'm here with cooking tip board. Whoa.
Well, because, like, swiping left and right is dating,
that's true,
dating, but up and down is TikTok and
That's
Instagram
true.
and everything. So you scroll,
Yeah.
it's like, nah, bored with this.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
And especially
Why
because
am I running out of content? Well, sir, you've launched half the content into the quarry. We had a quarry? I'm gonna go film the quarry and get my live quarry reaction.
And then all the content creators could be like, why am I losing viewers? Because you launched like 800 of them out of the trebuchet. Oh yeah.
Why weren't we filming that?
See, and this is something that I feel like if we really want to take advantage of LA as a location for the post-apocalypse,
Yeah.
I feel like this is where a lot of this stuff would pop up, because let's be real, LA draws to it a lot of vain, narcissistic people.
I know you are, but what am I?
Yeah. It says two people on a podcast, one of which is promoting their YouTube channel.
Look, fundamentally, I'm a man in my 30s with a podcast about talking about movies. I am fulfilling the stereotype, and I do respect that is true.
But here's the difference. These people that were writing in this movie, they lack the self-awareness to at least address that notion.
Yeah.
They would just be like head firmly up ass and just trying to
man, Movie Bros is the best movie podcast that you're ever at.
Oh my god! If there was a Mad Max Coliseum, but it was for film bros, and they were just sitting there being like, "Let me tell you why The Hateful Eight is actually the best Tarantino movie." Like, what?
No, The Magnificent Seven was the best iteration of Seven Samurai, and
Yeah.
No, The Hurtful Six was.
And then there's like one guy in the audience. It's like, anyone here like the new Star Wars? No! Everyone just unloads their clip on, like their bullet, and it's like, God, like, now time for proper film discourse. Anyways, can't believe The Matrix got so woke with that last one. Like, you know, I want to see, like, have a little bit more fun with that.
Yes, good. I agree with all of this. Is there anything else we need for plot? Because, like, I feel like we're basically just, like, having fun playing around in the world, which, like, we get. We've kind of talked about the plot of, like, bunkers and everything. One of the things that I would add is I think the stepmom should be a zombie for a little bit, and I think she should be among the first zombies that we see. Because if you have this big climactic thing with the mom, and then she just gets dusted and we never see her again,
It would be nice to have, like, a moment of, like, retaliation where they could be like,
I don't want to, like, have the retaliation of, like, killing the mom, but more, like, realizing, like, oh, we gotta go, this is a problem.
oh, fair enough.
Like, I don't want the revenge porn of, like, my mom was mean to me, so I'm gonna kill her.
Yeah, like, fair enough. What
I'm
if she somehow gets into the bunker, like, she crawls through the vents or something, or, like, because she was married to the dad who built the bunker, like, she's still cognizant enough to know that, like, she has the keys. So she could get into the bunker, which would then cause them to need to leave it.
Yes, that I like a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, she's the reason for them needing to leave the bunker, as opposed to, like... Because I don't necessarily love the, like, we gotta kill all these other humans! Like,
Yeah.
as opposed to, like, letting them be hoisted by their own petard within their cradle desert bunker thing.
Fair enough. And then I would say...
I do think Hector should go and check on his family. They didn't make it. It's a big sad moment. Oh no, more zombies back to LA.
I would actually like to subvert that.
Okay.
One of them makes it.
Great.
And it could be this moment where it's like the mom and, like, maybe he's got a mom, a younger sister, and, like, a very, very younger brother, like a nephew, right?
Sure.
And then he could be like, oh my God, he sees the mom and his younger sister, and it's like, oh my God, you guys are alive. But, like, they're hurtled over something, right? And it's like, they're, like, in front of a door and they're, like, scratching at it. And it's clear that's a moment, it's like, oh, they're zombies. He has to fight them now. But then maybe one of the kids that ends up at the end of the movie, like...
Is his
nephew.
brother.
Or his nephew or something.
I think that's way better, because I didn't even bother recasting the kids, because, like, who cares?
Yeah.
But if the one member of his family that he finds is a kid and he brings that kid back, I think that's great, and that gives us an actual reason to have a child.
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed to some wildly unconnected. Because we're going to have a bunch of other people, and, like, we're going to have a Costco instead of a mall and all that other stuff.
I do also like the idea of, like, Regina and Sam being smart enough to, like... Because, again, their dad was, like, a war veteran doomsday prepper, probably listened to a lot of this stuff, so he's like... They could be smart enough that before their phones die, like, it's like, oh, they see the weather, and it's like, oh, it's supposed to rain at the end of this week. Okay, all we have to do is make it to the end of the week, and then it rains, and we're fine. And that could be a really fun thing where it's like, we could do structurally, it's like, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Good.
And then Friday or Saturday, depending on which has more thematic or, like, impact, right? Maybe the moment that, like, Reggie finally steps up and becomes a leader... That's when it rains, and it's like her, like, standing up and, like, the day is saved. I've done my big rah-rah
Independence Day speech,
or the big rah-rah speech, and then it rains and the clear skies, and it's like, she's the one we need to listen to.
Yeah.
Oh, right? It's like,
yeah.
Even though it's very clearly like Reggie and Sam are smart and cynical enough to be like, it's not a heavenly divine thing. Even the people that were hesitant to join her because there is that, like, oh, she said this stuff and then it rained. Whoa! It's this big moment, right? And then it's like, then they could go off and start society. And other than that, though, I think that's a pretty solid...
I love it. I think that's very fun. It is the night of the Comet that we deserve.
Exactly.
So let's cast it.
Okay.
I have a bunch of weirdos. I think it's fun. I didn't cast an actual 15-year-old for Samantha. I cast someone in her early 20s. Same, and Regina's like a couple years older in her 20s.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like, I don't need them to be high schoolers. It's fine.
College kids.
Yeah, whatever. They need to be young people. That's all they need to be.
Yes.
So let's talk about Regina. My Regina kind of really has one big credit where she's much more dour because her big credit is Ozark. I cast an actress named Sophia Hublitz.
Oh, okay. Not where I thought you were going with the Ozark reference, but okay. So for me, I'm going to pitch a twofer here.
Okay.
Just as like a wild card. Because I thought of this and I was like, this might be a little stunt casting-y, but it could be really fun. So there are two up-and-comers who are twin sisters. And they both came from the horror world. And they're both they're like, one of them's 18, one of them's 16. Right? Or sorry, they're not twins, but they're sisters.
I was going to say, that can't possibly be true.
They're not twins. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. Their names are Violet and Madeline McGraw. They are both come from the Blumhouse family. One of them plays Megan. And then the other one got her start playing the main character's little sister in the Black Phone movies. And if you look at their dynamic, like, outside of it, like when they do interviews or social media stuff, they have a really fun, really playful back and forth with each other, where it feels very much like, oh, they have that sisterly bond, yet they also very clearly come from the, like, brain rot meme culture of Gen Z, Gen Alpha.
Right.
And I think they could be a fun, like, 1-2 punch to bring it into the modern day but in a way that's like, oh, these are two sisters that like they have these horror ties. How fun would it be to finally put the two of them in a movie together?
Yeah, we probably will go with them because the younger sister is 14 and the older sister is 16. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. We're probably going to do that. Let me tell you about my Samantha Belmont first. I went with an actress who was in Sydney to the Max, fresh off the boat. She is half Filipino, half Hispanic. And I was like, great. Her name is Julia Garcia.
Okay.
She's another good actress. She's also younger, but like I love this idea of Violet and Madeline McGraw a lot. And so I'm just going to, out of hand, just say, yes, we're doing that.
Okay.
So Regina is going to be...
I just thought that was really fun. They're both, if they can bring some of that energy that I just at a cursory glance saw them on social media, like doing interviews and stuff.
Great.
And messing around with each other. If they can bring that vibe to the movie, I think that would help the movie a lot.
I think that's fantastic. I think that's an excellent choice. I fully support this. Let's rock and roll. That brings me to, which means that my Hector's probably also wrong because I cast a boy in his mid-20s. Mm-hmm. I don't want a boy in his mid-20s dating a 16-year-old.
Fair enough.
So let me tell you about my Hector and then we'll move on from that.
Okay.
My Hector is in The Summer I Turned Pretty. He was in The Flight Attendant. He was in something called Dead Boy Detectives. His name is David Iacono.
I know exactly who you're talking about, and that is a perfect Hector.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen Summer I Turned Pretty, but I've seen everything else you just mentioned, and I'm thinking about it, I'm like, wow, that is a perfect one-to-one.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we can't go with that.
Yes.
But I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah. I mean, my option's no better in terms of the age range, but I forgot his name, but I was going to go with the lead actor from Blue Beetle.
Oh.
But there is still that same issue.
Yeah. Shoot, I also can't think of his name. It starts with an X.
Xolo?
Xolo Maridueña.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought he would be a very good Hector because watching Blue Beetle, like, I do think he's got a little bit of that charisma and charm while also being able to do the more serious moments. But, again, there is the issue of the age gap.
Yeah, he's 24.
Yeah.
Which, typically fine. For the movie as it exists, that's correct. We'll see if we can find a 16-year-old for Hector, because neither of those, I think, are going to work.
Yes.
Let's move on. Who did you have for the mother, Doris Belmont?
I did not cast Doris.
Cool. I'm going to tell you mine, because mine's a stunt casting. Because it's like, you get to have one good scene, then you have a scene where you're a zombie, and then you're out of the movie.
Okay.
It's 1, maybe 2 days.
Right. Someone who you can put and so-and-so on the poster.
Yeah. And you get to say, and so-and-so, and you're like, oh, cool, that person's in this movie? Wow, I didn't think that Eva Longoria was going to be in this movie. And it's like, she's a little bit old to have a 14 to 16-year-old daughter, but, like, it doesn't matter. That's kind of what makes sense about this whole thing.
No, but it's also fun because then it's like, it's almost like the antithesis of, like, Desperate Housewives energy. But, like, Eva Longoria would be really fun because... Given this would probably be a smaller movie budget-wise, more than the original, but this isn't a Marvel movie, you know, it's not getting $200 million.
Right.
She would be someone who's, from a producing standpoint, like a reasonable get, A-list celebrity, but then it would be fun to see her do the more, like, negative qualities of, like, her character from Desperate Housewives. Like, the evil version of it.
Yeah.
Like, really playing up, like, if she was a desperate housewife, but, like, a wicked stepmother.
Yes.
That's really fun.
Yeah.
I really like that.
I thought it would be fun. I thought it would be silly. Yeah. And so, yeah, Eva Longoria. Which then brings me to Audrey White, who I think was really interesting, and I went with an actress who hasn't been in as much recently, but she was also kind of like an 80s, 90s ingenue heartthrob. And it'd be fun to see her in this movie playing an asshole who it turns out is with a big twist, which I loved that twist. She is the voice of Nani in Lilo and Stitch, the cartoon one. She was in True Lies. She's in Wayne's World. I went with Tia Carrera.
I could totally see that. No, that makes total sense. No, I really like that. She could do, especially like when you brought up the Nani reference, I could see that sort of that frustration, but at the same time, that's a little bit of vulnerability with her character. Like, she could do that really well. For Audrey, that was my version of stunt casting, where I was like, okay, you could have someone who plays a smaller role, but it's a role that kind of impacts the entirety of the story because she is kind of this looming threat. So my thinking was that you get stunt casting for that, and you just get an A-lister in there, right? And you get them in there, not a ton of screen time, But then I was trying to think about, like, who would be an A-lister that would be really good, who would be funny, but still have that sort of dryness that Audrey has.
Yeah.
So I went with Aubrey Plaza, especially because she's older and she's starting to do more of these serious roles, especially you look at stuff like Emily the Criminal.
Yeah.
And even looking at something like, I don't know if you saw the remake of Child's Play where she's playing the mother.
No.
But she is playing it. It's like she's a millennial mother. So she's still kind of got of that like youthful sarcasm.
Yeah.
But while also trying to be like a maternal figure to her child.
Right.
And I feel like that role in Emily the Criminal show, she could really play that role of like exhausted, frustrated scientist.
Yeah, I can
really,
see that.
really well.
Yeah.
And again, she's only in a handful of scenes, so you could still do that and casting.
Yes.
Right? That stunt name, but then she's not in it a ton, and she like has that big sacrificial moment.
Well, outside of what was the one where she played the stalker, the movie?
Oh, it's funny you mention that because I was thinking about the whole like Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and the post-apocalypse. A lot of it tonally,
Good title for a movie.
I was thinking a lot of it was from, tonally would be Ingrid Goes West.
Right. So, like, Ingrid Goes West is the only movie I can think of where she is playing unapologetically the villain. Mm-hmm. I don't know any other movie where she is unapologetic, or a TV show where she's unapologetically the villain. She always, like, appears that way, but it's like April Ludgate. It appears dark, has a heart of gold.
Well, that's what the fun thing would be, was that you take some of that, like, that cynical dryness with a heart of gold, right?
Yeah.
You subvert it initially by saying, oh, but no, that cynicism is because she's a bad person. And then the twist is, like, it feeds into what you know about Aubrey Plaza, where it's, no, it actually, she is, she does have the heart of gold.
I mean, that's not bad. I'm still more tempted to go with Tia Carrera.
I do think she would work better because
we have less expectation.
Not only that, but also, like, I feel like she would have skin in the game in regards to this project for longer, which would feed more into the exhaustion of, like, I'm so tired of having to deal with these other scientists, and I'm so tired of having to deal with all of these fucking billionaires.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, I could see her being more realistically someone at the end of her rope.
Let's go with that, then.
Yes.
Who else did you... Because I gave us a Dr. Carter, a Dr. Wilson, and I gave us a mall boss. Mm-hmm. Did you have any other actor roles that we haven't covered?
Yeah, so for the mall boss, and this one's a total pipe dream. This is someone I don't think we could ever get, but I was just watching the movie with my partner, and the way that the mall boss was acting, I was like, if he wasn't as big of a star as he is right now, I could see Nicholas Hoult playing this really well.
Absolutely, he'd be great.
He could do, especially after watching him like play Lex Luthor in Superman,
where he's excellent.
He's so good, but he is that kind of like he's on the verge of being unhinged.
Yeah,
like barely holding back this insanity. I feel like I saw that, but with that the head of the like mall boy zombies.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, that's him. That's him entirely.
Absolutely it is.
And I was thinking for the head scientist, the one that does end up becoming zombified, it'd be really fun to get someone who's very like old hat.
Yeah.
Like very classical horror actor from the 80s and kind of bring that into the now.
100%.
And I was thinking a fun one would be Tom Matthews.
Okay.
Who you would know him. He was Tommy Jarvis in Friday the 13th Part 6.
Sure, which I've definitely seen.
He was also in the original Return of the Living Dead.
Okay.
And he was in Return of the Living Dead Part 2 as a completely different character. And I think he would be someone who'd be fun to bring in, who's like, okay, here's someone who's clearly like old horror, little like tip of the hat to horror fans. But someone who would also, like, he's got a history of horror, and it's almost like this weird, like, playing the villain, passing the baton to the next generation.
Yeah.
In a fun way.
Great. He can be our Dr. Wilson, replacing my Dr. Wilson, who was Danny Huston from Constant Gardener, Aviator, Yellowstone.
Oh, he would have been good.
He would have been.
And don't forget the Naked Gun.
And don't forget the Naked Gun, of course. He's great in the Naked Gun.
This might be a little, like, repetitive, but he would be fun as one of the billionaires that's funding the Cradle
There's
project.
no reason why we can't also have him.
Of course.
My mall boss, I just found kind of like a kid who, like, I just found a child actor. He was in Wednesday. He's going to be in this upcoming The Last Bus. His name is Musa Mustafa.
Who did he play in Wednesday?
Don't remember.
Okay. It would be fun to get some of the Wednesday cast in there as, like, some of the younger people still living in the post-apocalypse.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like, who else is going to be a stock boy?
Yeah.
He's Eugene Ottinger.
Okay. I still have no idea who that is.
It doesn't matter. I just got a weirdo.
Okay.
And then, like, another one of the scientists I pulled from Spinal Tap 2, and then I've also seen her on Taskmaster. It's a British actress named Kerry Godliman.
Did she play their, like, manager
Yeah.
in Spinal Tap 2?
Uh-huh.
Okay. No, I know who you're talking about. That could be fun.
She's great. Just, like, kind of the wry wit of, like, yeah, we just gotta go. Of course we gotta get people. Like, it's the right thing to do. And then, like, when she turns, you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No, she would be fun as one of the people that's like, oh, yeah. Like, the one who was like, I think it was, like, a 300 cc's.
Yeah.
Like, just very glibly
Yeah.
talking about this atrocity that they're committing.
Yes.
That's
And then
really
I also
fun.
have an actor for our Hector.
Okay.
He is a Filipino actor who is 17. His name is Derek McCabe. He is known, Derek spelled D-E-R-I-C. He was in A Wrinkle in Time. He was in something called Stephanie. He was on something called Hold On. Actor on his way up. I think A Wrinkle in Time was probably, like, the biggest thing he's done, obviously, and that was 7 years ago. He's in The Naughty Nine. I don't know what that is.
Oh,
He was in Home Before Dark as Wesley Spoon Witherspoon. I don't know. He's just
what? I'm sorry. What was the name?
Wesley Witherspoon, known as Spoon. He's in
Wesley?
20 episodes of Home Before Dark.
That is like the most like golden age comics about to become a superhero name ever. Wesley Witherspoon. Soon to,
Tune in. We call Spoon to his friends.
When he inhaled the red dust from the magic comet, he became dead.
Yeah. Wesley Witherspoon. You'll remember that name.
Yeah. No, that's very. I like that.
His name is Derek McCabe.
Okay.
So
in terms of casting, that's about it. Especially considering, like, coming into this, I was worried that, like, outside of our sort of lead three characters, we really were going to be changing quite a bit. But we really, like, I feel like the core structure of the original is still there. We're just sort of adding on new details that they couldn't before, and then also
we're filling in what is largely an empty world.
Yes.
So who's going to write it?
I have a pitch, and this is another two-hander, writer-director.
I almost did this, but continue.
Okay. And this is based off my original idea for who could play Reggie and who could play Sam.
Sure.
Because one person I was thinking would make a really great Reggie was Rachel Sennett.
Ah, yeah.
Right? A little older, but still kind of within that
The
demographic.
right vibe.
Yeah. And who is great in the movie Bottoms.
Correct.
Which is a criminally underseen comedy for anyone who's listening who hasn't seen it.
Correct.
It's
I've
on
pulled from that movie a lot.
It's on Amazon Prime. I think it still is. Go check it out. It was written and directed by a woman named Emma Seligman. Seligman. Emma Seligman, who also did Shiva Baby.
Yep.
And I think she would be perfect for this. Mm-hmm. Because she has clearly proven that she can do both, like, more grounded anxieties with Shiva Baby and do more, like, ludicrous, over-the-top comedy with Bottoms.
Yes.
And I think she's the kind of director that's going to get poached for bigger projects down the line.
If she hasn't been already, it is a crime.
Yes. And I feel like this would be perfect because her sense of humor would be perfect for some kind of this, like, jaded, cynical, like, Gen Z Valley Girl energy we want to, like, maintain with the movie. But it would also, like, allow her to, like, kind of, like, grit her what's the term where it's like expose herself to, like, genre filmmaking.
Get up to her elbows in, like, weird gore and creepiness.
Exactly, while still bringing some of that energy from Bottoms and Shiva Baby too.
I agree.
I think that could be really fun.
I think that's a really good pull. There's a decent chance we'll go with her. I think that's a fun choice for writer-director.
Okay.
I also thought for a movie with some female leads, it would be good to have either the writer or the director be a lady. So let me tell you about my writer first. He got his start on The Whitest Kids You Know. He also wrote and directed Barbarian, and most recently, Weapons. I went with Zach Kreger.
That is a really fun choice.
And I briefly flirted with the idea of him being writer-director as well. Mm-hmm. But I was like, that's fine, but I still want a more female perspective. And I want someone who knows... So, like, if he's doing kind of, like, the weirdness and the horror, I want someone who can do the big, bombastic action movies and give us a sense of kind of the weirdness and the perspective on reality that we wouldn't otherwise get. So I got someone who's directed so many different things, up to and including Speed Racer, Cloud Atlas, and various matrices. I went with Lana Wachowski.
So my Matrix reference earlier.
That's why I smiled immediately after.
That was an eerie bit of foreshadowing, unintentionally on my part.
So I think it would be fun to have Emma Seligman write this and then have it be directed by Lana Wachowski.
And I'll do another pitch.
Okay.
We pull a companion and get Zach Kreger's name on this as a producer. Like, it's his company producing it, so it could be like, Zach Kreger presents a Lana Wachowski production, or like, film written by Emma Seligman.
Yep.
You know, like, that's a 3-hole punch of a deal right there, you know?
And I would 100% believe that Zach Kreger and Lana Wachowski have seen this movie. I don't think Emma Seligman's heard of it.
No, never.
Not a chance.
No, never. Which is why I also think it'd be fun for her to write it, because there's a certain level of detachment. Of
100%.
like, okay, I have the general idea, and I can like go crazy with some of this like I'm
gonna spend 3 weeks making fun of it, and then I'll get to work.
Yeah, exactly. Which is like, I think for something like this that was so tongue-in-cheek, that was so like Valley Girl sarcasm about the premise, I think that's perfect. That's a perfect vibe to bring to the table here.
100%.
Yeah.
So that's our movie. Let me take you through our cast for Night of the Comet. Regina Belmont is going to be Madeline McGraw. Samantha Belmont is going to be Violet McGraw. Hector Gomez is going to be Derek McCabe. Doris Belmont is going to be Eva Longoria. Audrey White is going to be Tia Carrera. Dr. Carter will be Carrie Godleman. Dr. Wilson will be Tom Matthews. Danny Huston somewhere, probably. Our mall boss is going to be Musa Mustafa. All of this is going to be written by Emma Seligman, directed by Lana Wachowski, and then produced by Zach Kreger. That is Night of the Comet. Jake, you going to go see this movie?
Of course I'm going to go see this movie. You kidding me?
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
We remade Night of the Comet.
We did.
Heck yeah. Good for us. And I was recording the whole time.
Oh my god. You scared me at the end there. I was like, wait, were you not this whole time?
No, definitely recording. Whenever I like leave the page, I'm like on IMDb, and I'm like, wait, I'm not actively watching Audacity record this whole thing the whole time, and I have to switch back over. My
soul almost left my body and watched it turn into red dust.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Didn't mean to do that. I apologize. But Jake, hopefully you can draw your soul back in and tell us a little bit about what you would like people to do or follow or watch.
Yeah, of course. If you follow Kino Tripper, Kino Tripper, on YouTube, social media, it's mostly YouTube. I have a lot of fun videos right now. I have one about creating a spectrum for the horror comedy genre based on which ones are the scariest and which ones are the funniest, creating sort of like a measurement of it. I have a great video about that I had mentioned. I had done a documentary about a forgotten period of Warner Brothers animation in the early 2000s that was exclusively online. And then I am currently working on a video exploring the world of horror movie endings and how to and how not to end your horror movie. So keep an eye out for that. Other than that, yeah, hopefully in 10 years you'll see me be a writer's assistant on some show on Hulu.
No!
Maybe.
No! In 10 years you're going to be creating a show on Hulu.
You really think I could get that job?
Yeah!
Oh man, you have more confidence in me than I do, damn.
I've read your stuff, I know you're good. But yeah,
anyways,
good.
Yeah, no.
Thank you very much for being my guest and having me watch this movie finally after everyone else suggested it.
I'm just glad I finally had a movie that didn't make you, like, cringing in your seat this time.
I mean, yeah, that's what happened last time. Finally, this is the second episode you've done.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, for context, how long had I known you at that point before I was like, oh, let's do Wizards?
I don't know, a few months?
It was not long. It was still pretty early on in our friendship, so it was like, man, what a weird first thing to, put someone through.
It was weird because, like, sitting down, I didn't, like, I had to check in with you and be like, how do we feel about this movie? Oh, we both don't like it? This is going to be fine.
Oh, yeah, but that's some of the best, like, movies to remake are the ones that are like...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we both enjoyed this one, but this was also fun to remake.
Exactly. No, this movie was fun, and this movie will be fun.
Yes. If you're interested in following me, I am on Instagram at Ideal Remake, spelled like the podcast, or you can follow me on BlueSky at Sam Gasch, SamGasch. Or if you have thoughts on Night of the Comet, or have different thoughts about what aisle at Costco you'd park yourself, please let me know on the Dueling Genre Discord, which has a link in the show notes of this very episode. But I will end this episode the same way I end every episode. Jake, What is your favorite quote from the movie Night of the Comet?
Oh, no. That's not a quote from the movie. That was me literally vocalizing like I literally had one earlier. And I was like, I'll make a note of this. And I couldn't remember it, so all I could think was to say, oh, no.
I'm tempted to just leave that and just go with that.
Just go with that.
Done.